welcome back to Galactic Reviews. As always, I'm Payson, and here's Zach, and we're gonna review the Batman. Came out March 7th, something like that.
Yeah.
It's out in theaters right now, starring Robert Pattinson, Andy Serkis. So, short synopsis of the Batman is it is a younger Batman starting on his crusade. He's in like year two. It shows that he's got some experience with the GCPD dealing with Gotham. In fact, they even remark about how in the first scene that he's been running around for a year and a half or so. There's that. So it's an experienced Bruce Wayne. He and Jim Gordon have got to figure out who this killer is who seems to be targeting city officials and leaving riddles at the crime scene. For the Batman specifically, which has everybody at the police station questioning as to whether or not he is part of the scene of the crime or not. So start off with Zach. What'd you think of the movie? That's a very short
I
synopsis.
will say, first off, they refer to him as the Batman, but the only one that does that is the Riddler. Everyone else is I am Vengeance. Is that his new superhero name he's going for? You can call me Vengeance, by the way. I'm trying to think. Does anyone else call him Batman?
I think Jim does a couple times, but they're never
But
like,
yeah,
"Get me the Batman." It's just like when I was saying, like, "Oh, it's you.
it's
Are
like
you
an
kidding me,
unsaid
sir?"
word.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, they do reference him multiple times as the Batman.
but still.
I mean, yeah, that is kind of weird, but it's more so they don't want to acknowledge that
Overall,
he's there, considering that it's still a GCPD that's still getting accustomed to him being there.
yeah, I will. Yeah, no, I get that. But like, even one of the first scenes of the movie when he walks out, it's not "I am Batman," it's "I am Vengeance." When is his response to "Who are you?" But yeah, putting that aside for now, I enjoyed the movie overall as a detective movie. For a Batman movie, it was a different take on Batman. You don't get to see much action or crime fighting. It's more of him as a detective, which I enjoyed. I thought that was a fun new outlook we see being portrayed in a movie for him. So, with that said, I enjoyed it overall. I thought Robert Pattinson did a good job. Surprising. Wasn't a big fan of his appearance as Bruce Wayne, though. I think if he slicked his hair back, he would have been better, or just appeared better for the camera
Yeah.
instead of looking just a bit etchy.
Well, I
That's
will
the
say,
only problem I had with him.
well, I will
Other
say,
than,
we did discuss this after the movie that it is still a new Bruce Wayne, so maybe he hasn't created that playboy persona that everybody
well,
knows.
which
So
was explained in the movie just a little bit that he does not leave his house much.
and when that playboy persona was kind of brought into his sort of Batman role as he was like
Yeah.
starting to get more injuries and he was needing to like play him off when he did appear as Bruce Wayne. And considering that he is very recluse as of this film, he doesn't really need that at the moment. So
Well, still, it's mostly just the hairstyle. Like
yeah, I get
he's
that.
he you see him as Bruce Wayne and his hair is like all in his face. I'm like, what? I'm like,
Yeah.
I understand you take off the helmet, your hair's in your face, but go to the hospital or wherever he goes, and it's like, my hair's in my face, but I can still see you, don't worry. I'm not gonna look at the camera because I'm too cool for the camera. I'm gonna look off in the distance, but I'll say my lines nonetheless.
It seemed more like a very much young adult Bruce Wayne instead of like
Yeah, I want to
someone
know
going
how.
into adulthood instead of someone being an adult.
Yeah, he seems early 20s, 100%.
At least that seems like what they're portraying. I'm pretty sure Robert Pattinson is at least in his 30s,
Yeah, 100%. But for
but that
what
seemed
he's
like what
being
they were.
portrayed as, yeah,
Yeah,
portraying, yeah, early 20s. I really enjoyed the Riddler. I think they did a great job on that. So overall, I'm gonna give this movie, since I've seen it and I've been sitting and thinking about it more, I'm gonna give it a 7.5. It's only gone up a 0.5%, but still,
yeah,
I can't give this movie an 8. I could, but I feel like it's going to be, if they do a sequel, I feel like it will bring this movie up because I feel like this was just the
yeah,
start.
yeah.
Laid
Well,
the
what?
foundation, and I know that's what it was supposed to do since it's supposedly a trilogy, so I'm
Yeah,
excited for that. But as a foundation, 100%, it's like a 7. It has a lot of potential, so I'm looking forward to it.
for me, I have a lot of the same points, pros and cons, similar to Zach. There are some that are differing, and that'll probably come in when we do the spoiler review portion. But overall, very much the same points. Like the Riddler in certain places, like Batman in certain places. Didn't like how Bruce Wayne was portrayed, but understand that this is still a younger Batman. So Bruce Wayne hasn't been fully developed. Like Alfred, ironically, like Jim Gordon, because I didn't know if I was or wasn't concerned that they had already race changed the character. So I did like the lines, like the actor. I have nothing against him. Most of the stuff very well liked. Like the whole detective thing about the aspect of the movie, which was actually one of my favorite parts because it was more like a slow burn like Watchmen, and that really got to me. I know some people will
Hmm.
say it could have been like kind of like what I said with No Way Home. It could have been trimmed up a little bit, and that's a fair assessment considering that it is 3 hours. However, I do think it does play well with that 3 hour time frame. So I'm gonna give this
It
movie an eight.
does. All
Eight
right.
out of 10 for me because it's good, and it'll probably depend on like the next two films because this is supposed to be the start of a trilogy starring Robert Pattinson's Batman. I think it'll only start going either up or down, or I just hope it at least stays the same. I think I'll definitely probably watch this movie at least once before the next film comes out. Depending on how the
Yes.
three do, will depend on whether or not I watch all three of them again. But I will probably more than likely definitely watch this one at least 5 years down the road. At least because it's a good detective Batman film, which hasn't really been done. And considering that most superhero films are more get right into the fights instead of showing you the detectiveness of how they would calculate such a move, especially with one of the characters being the Riddler, who is showing you every clue. Even if you don't understand it, it's still pretty good.
Yeah, I will agree with that 100%.
Thanks for
Let's
watching
do
our
that.
spoiler free review. Watch the spoiler one if you watch the movie. See you next time on Galactic Reviews.